welcome back to Get Decked EDH. Today I'm just going to talk a little bit about the sets we have coming up this year because honestly I'm a little excited for some and not so much for others. And I wanted to kind of go into a deep dive of why I'm excited about some more than others. So this video is going to be kind of me just yapping away. Feel free to skip through parts you don't care about or sets you're not interested for. It's just going to be a brief overview because we don't have much information yet. So I'm just going to kind of dive into what we know and what we're going to expect and what to kind of get excited for. First off, we have Aether Drift, obviously. That's coming in a couple weeks from today. That's going to be set in this death race type scenario. So we're going to see a lot of vehicles, two new mechanics. Uh, in all honesty, I'm not that excited for this set. Wizards has been doing this thing lately where they get really thematic and they bring in mechanics that are very specific to that theme and then they just leave them behind once they move on to the next set. So we saw that in OTJ, which wasn't too bad there. We get actually some useful ones like I think it was Heist was one of them. Essentially when you could bump up or like almost like escalate. It could have been Escalate. Don't quote me on it. I wasn't super into that set. And then they had the Outlaw mechanic, which kind of worked because mercenaries and all that stuff, assassins get some support. And then we got to like Wild's Veldrain, which was, that was actually set in Realm, so that was pretty cool. But we had like Duskborn, which brought in rooms. And oh my god, what was the other one? March of the Machines, I think it was. Brought in battles. So we get to see two new card types that we will probably never see again, which kind of seems a little silly. Like, oh, hey, you want to build a battles deck or you want to build a rooms deck? Well, oh, too bad. This is the only support you're ever going to get. And I kind of see that trend a little bit with Aether Drift, which is kind of irritating. I'm starting to see the max speed and the exhaust is the big one. Exhaust I can see coming back. I can see that returning, and that's obviously it's activate abilities, you can tap them, but you can only tap them once per game. You have ways of abusing that ability by blinking the creature or creating token copy. I went over it quickly in a short I posted, but other than that, that ability seems lackluster. It's activate abilities with extra steps, and we didn't really need that. I don't think it's game changing. It's not going to do anything to the meta or change how people play really too much. So honestly, not too interested in that. And then we have the other one, which is max speed. So this one it just seems silly. It's very thematic. I'll give him that. It's extremely thematic, but it falls into the same line as say like the initiative, monarch. Once this thing hits the board, it stays on the board. It can't be interacted with. So it's definitely going to be usable, but I think we're only going to see it benefit off cards from the set, obviously, because that's what it's all built around. So I think that's a huge misstep. I don't know. I feel like building mechanics that die after the set releases isn't a smart move, but who am I? I'm just a peon. I just sit here, I buy their products, go yum, 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 and I play with their cards. So I have no clue on how long term that's going to be. And if you don't know anything about the max speed, essentially a creature can enter. It has a type line, something to do with speed. I'll pull up and do little pop-ups here and there to kind of give you guys a visual example, but you can ramp up once per turn, only once per turn, so it takes a total of 4 turns because there's 4 max speeds. So say you have to deal damage, opponent has to lose life on your turn in order to get your speed cranking. So you got 4 turns to get it to max speed, and so far the abilities I've seen that when they hit max speed are just abilities that cards without that mechanic have. So I don't understand the appeal there, but I'm sure once we get the full set out, it will hopefully be a little bit more attractive of a mechanic. But other than that, I'm not feeling too jazzed about it. Uh, but anyway, after Aether Drift and that horrible race flag icon that's going to be stamped on every card we see for the next 2 months, don't even get me started on that. But besides that, we have some other sets to look up to or look forward to. We have Tarkir Dragonstorm, which is coming up. I got a list pulled up, so if I drift away from looking at the camera, this is what I'm looking at. But Tarkir Dragonstorm is a set that I'm excited about. You know why? Because it's set in a magic universe. It's set in a plane called Tarkir. This is obviously the dragons. This is where all the dragons come from. It's going to be really cool. Sarkhan, I'm sure, is going to make a reappearance. I'm very excited to see. I'm sure we're gonna get some probably a Niv Mizzet, new Mizzet maybe. Can't recall if he's actually even from that planet. I think he might be from don't quote me. I am not good on Magic lore. I just play the game. I enjoy the game, the mechanics, and the strategy of it all, but I am not a lore wizard. But to be completely honest, I'm most excited for Tarkir, and I'm extremely excited for the set that comes after that, that's set in Realm, and that is Edge of Eternities. But besides the point, before we jump around, because I'm all over the place, Tarkir Dragonstorm is going to be pretty cool. We're going to see a lot more multicolored cards come out of that, which is going to be pretty awesome. Ugin's going to be coming back. This is going to be cool. So we're going to see, hopefully cool. I don't know. If you ever play it against anyone who uses Ugin, it sucks. Like, it is absolutely backbreaking. Yeah, you got colored permanents. Who doesn't have colored permanents? Guess what? They're exiled. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do with that. The logo looks cool. The art, I'll obviously be popping them up. But other than that, what do we have after that? So Tarkir, we don't have much info, obviously, so I can't go into a deep dive on that. But after that, we have Final Fantasy, which is going to be set across what, all 16 games. That's nuts. So I don't know. If you're a huge Final Fantasy fan, I can see this set being appealing. Um, I personally have dabbled. I used to play. I can't remember which one. It was like Final Fantasy 7 or 9. It was on the PlayStation 2, and I played a bunch of it. It was really hard and kind of stressful, and the game almost felt like a slog at times. But it had a good aesthetic. I liked the aesthetic of it, so it was fun. And then after a while, I played Final Fantasy 14 online, and I got like pretty decently heavy into that for a bit, and that was pretty fun. So I'm definitely curious to see, mostly for Final Fantasy 14, where I spent more of my older years in. I played that like last year recently. I'm more curious to see like cards like that from the main story, because obviously if you're a Final Fantasy 14 fan, you know that game is huge, long, there's a lot of characters in it. If you're a Final Fantasy fan in general, I'm sure you're excited, but it's going to be interesting to see the meld up and how that fits into the world. I think it's going to be playing more so on like a Neon Dynasty style of cards, which we got in the Kamigawa set a couple of years ago, a few years ago. I don't even remember. Don't ask me about time. Um, so that will be interesting to see what we got going on there. I'll be curious to see about like level up mechanics and stuff like that returning, or they're going to add something new to it. But other than that, I'm not too. I'm optimistic about the Final Fantasy. Obviously, these Universes Beyond sets are getting more frequent. We're going to be seeing a lot more of them. Um, Honestly, Lord of the Rings was awesome for me. I loved that set. I thought it was. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, so it definitely tickled me, and it felt in the world. It fit in all the cards. So I'm curious to see how Final Fantasy will fit in. But with Aether Drift and Kamigawa Neon Dynasty out, I'm sure Final Fantasy will find its little niche in there. And I wonder if they're going to play off Aether Drift at all with it. So that will be their one chance to kind of carry over the mechanics that we might see. Not very well though. I'm not. I know some obviously Final Fantasy games. If you don't know, each game is set in an alternate universe, its own universe with the same thematics, if that makes sense. So nothing is, unless it's a direct sequel or like a part two or something, it's generally a new world and a new game. And that's why when you always see a Final Fantasy game, it always looks kind of different. So I'll be very curious to see how they narrow down a mechanic on that. Anyway, besides Final Fantasy Universes Beyond, I know where some people are getting really tired of those. I want to jump into the set that I'm kind of the most excited for, which is Edge of Eternities. This one seems, so I like space stuff. The Infinity set, like, it appealed to me, but I hated the sticker mechanic. Like, what was that? Attractions? You're making me carry a sticker book to my Magic games? Ridiculous. But besides that, Edge of Eternities is actually like kind of speaking to me. It's gonna be like space fantasy, and the little arts they've shown so far look beautiful. Extremely excited to see what all the cards look like in that, and what characters they bring. I'm pretty sure they're setting it in kind of like a new realm, if I'm not mistaken. Um, so this will be pretty interesting. Yeah, because it's gonna have new planets, races, and feature spaceships. So maybe some more vehicle mechanics are coming back. A little play. I know Wizards like to kind of tickle into their past sets of the year, but we'll see how that plays out. Um, So it's going to be interesting because science is cool, space is cool, space fantasy, that's pretty cool to me. I like that stuff. Give my alien swords, call it a day. So hopefully, we don't have much info on that, but hopefully that will end up being kind of an interesting set. So I'm excited to see that, especially since Infinity kind of gave me a tickle. Like those full art lands, I'll pop one up, are freaking gorgeous. I love those lands. They're cheap and affordable too if you want to fill a deck with them. I think they're like less than $1, which for full art, that's a pretty good deal. Um, Besides that, though, Edge of Eternities is definitely the set that I'm most excited for this year, along with Tarkir, because I want to go back to Magic Realms. I want to be in Magic. When I play Magic, I enjoy these little, I really live for the remastered sets they've been doing. Like Innistrad Remastered was cool, fun. I actually opened a box. I'm sure if you've poked around my channel, you've seen that. And I enjoyed the remastered sets because it brings old cards back to life. People get to play with them again, and you get to see the cool arts that they reprint them with or what framework. I loved the Ravnica remastered and Dominaria remastered. Those were two awesome sets. I really enjoyed those. Innistrad remastered was all right. I feel like they kind of dropped the ball on a couple things with it. It seemed like they just were trying to churn out Edgar Markov. If you're on Reddit, then you've seen about probably 50 Edgar Markovs be posted. So I myself, when I opened my box, was excited to crack one, not realizing how common they were. So it will be interesting to see if we see any more remastered this year. It doesn't seem like it though on the timeline. I'll post the timeline up to in like the corner or something so you can kind of keep up with where I'm talking on this. After Edge of Eternities, which is going to be coming out in August. So just for a quick recap, we got Aether Drift in February 14th, Tarkir Dragonstorm on April 11th, Final Fantasy on June 13th, Edge of Eternities on August 1st, and then we have Spider-Man right after that. And that one I have no idea how to feel about. I was actually like extremely surprised they really narrowed it down with the Marvel to just Spider-Man. I thought that was interesting to say the least. Like if of all the universes they could have picked, or I guess all the heroes they could have picked, Spider-Man is definitely like one that I grew up watching. I love the old Tobey Maguire movies, so I doubt we're going to see a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Maybe, you don't know. But I'm pretty sure they're going off the comics and the animated show with this one. But that being said, I'm a huge Venom fan. I used to love buying his anti-hero era comics, so I am extremely excited to get a Venom card. I just hope they don't drop the ball like they did with Sauron in Lord of the Rings. No offense to any Sauron players, but the art on that at least was not what I was kind of hoping for, and his mechanic, especially in the pre-con, was just like, oh, like useless. Everyone played Sauron instead because he was just way better. But I would love to see Venom. I would love to build a Venom deck. That's about the only part of it I'm excited for. Other than that, it would be really interesting to see all these little Spider-Man cards kind of flocking through on Spell Table or at your LGSs around or even your pod possibly. So Spider-Man will be interesting. I think we got like some SpongeBob SquarePants Secret Lair after, which is, oh my God, what the hell? SpongeBob. Uh, I have no idea what the hell they're doing with that. Like, yeah, we all love SpongeBob. I grew up with SpongeBob. I fucking love SpongeBob, but I don't need SpongeBob and Magic. I have no idea. What are we gonna get? Ready? That's gonna be a card. Give all your creatures haste. Maybe we'll get the boat. I have no idea. I'm just kind of hoping that's a quick little secret layer with some cards that aren't playable, so we don't have to see it. But that's besides the point. If you're excited about SpongeBob, I'm sorry. I'm not excited about SpongeBob. That's going to be a weird vibe. And then after we have all this nonsense come through, honestly, I think we have an unannounced Universes Beyond. Um, we don't know anything about it. It has amazing art. That's about it. It's an amazing IP. That's what they said. So we will see about what that's going to be. I have no guesses. I can't even think about it. Yeah, even if I try, because they've just been so off kilter with how they. Because we've been diving. Obviously, they did Assassin's Creed. Never saw that coming. Never expected Assassin's Creed to be in Magic, but it is, and it wasn't a bad set to be honest. It just was small and marketed poorly. The Beyond boosters with, like, was it 7 cards? That sucked. I don't even think they had collectors. They probably did. Don't quote me on that. But that set was all right. It came with a lot of legendary and historic support, so I enjoyed it because I was building my Yoshi and Kedis legendary deck at the time. So I definitely plucked out some cards from it. But other than that, I'm be curious to see what the Universes Beyond set at the end of the year would be. If you have any guesses, please post them, or if you have any inside knowledge that you'd like to share, I'd love to hear about it. But other than that, that's what we have to look forward to this year. And I don't know about you, but some of it's exciting, some of it isn't. Aether Drift, I just can't wait to get over with that. I know with Aether Drift, they're definitely plugging in some. They do the same thing where they build this really thematic set, and then they plug in a bunch of like really good cards that will become staples, and it makes people buy it. So like, they're good with their marketing. I know what they're up to, but I'm not too sure about it. So if you guys are excited about Aether Drift, let me know. Tell me why you're excited about it. Do you have a vehicle deck? Are you building like a? Are you a Shorakai player? Because you shouldn't be. But if you're excited for vehicles, then let me know. Or racing. I don't know. If you're a race guy, you're a car guy, car lady, whatever you enjoy. Other than that, though, I'm not too excited for Aether Drift. But let me know in the comments what you are excited for, because I'd be curious to see what the hype is going to be around. Um, but other than that, guys, that's all I had today. This is just me talking head. Feel like I went off a little. I wanted to do a little ad lib here. If you haven't been noticing, I've been trying different ways of making videos lately and trying to find my comfortable niche. Because sometimes I just like to ramble, so I tried to make a script on a couple of videos, and I'm not good at reading and talking to a camera. So if anything has felt stale, I apologize. I'm definitely working on how to get the best content out and get the best, you know, trying to gather attention. So if you see me flocking here and there and trying different things, that's why. Because I am still a little baby channel, a little baby guy with a little baby bottle. I'm just trying to get by. So other than that, I have nothing else. If you enjoyed this video and enjoyed just hearing me ramble about sets that are coming out, please smash that like button. Hit the subscribe if you want to see more. I am trying to be as active as possible and put out as much as possible. Still varied content right now. Like I said, trying to see what hits. But other than that, take care, enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you in the next one.